Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
With Robb Flynn.
What up? What up? What up? Podcast party people. I always do like a kind of shimmy back and forth here when I do my intro. What up? Podcast party. Gets me in the mood, man. It helps me feel the groove. Know what I'm saying? Tell you what, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. This is such a good episode. Hooking up with my old guitar player, Ahrue Luster of Burning Red Supercharger fame. Hella live. Yeah. I tell you what, it's a good one, man. We go deep. It's cool. It was so cool going through some of these old memories. So cool reliving some of this. You know, we got, a lot of people don't know this, but we got a lot of history prior to him being in Machine Head. I was a big fan of his earlier band, the Horde of Torment, which was a like kind of proto death metal thrash band that moved to the Bay Area. And yeah, so, you know, most people knew him because he got introduced to the world on the Burning Red, but him and I knew each other for a long time before that. It was cool. We catch up a lot on tons of shit. Man, this is a good episode. This is a good one. First things first, though, before we get into that, got a big announcement. You should know this already. Head cases, you should know this already. But Machine Head, Arrows in Words from the Sky drops probably right now. It's probably live as we speak. As we speak, my friends. It is probably live right now up on all the DSPs. 3-track digital single. Not an EP. It's a digital single with 3 songs. I am very, very excited for you to hear this, man. I'm really, really stoked for you guys to hear these songs. I'm so proud of this stuff. I really feel like we're hitting the zone, man. We're hitting the zone. And I'm really juiced. You know, I think a lot of times when you're, I don't know. Sometimes you don't know where you're going with music. You know, you're just kind of, I've said this before, but I feel like you're kind of lost, and then you find like where you're going and you're like, oh, okay. Like I can see the album cover. I can see I can see everything now. Like it's all starting to like unfold. And these 3 songs, along with My Hands Are Empty, are going to end up on the next Machine Head record. So this is like a sampler of the new album that still has yet to be recorded, but this is where we're at. And yeah, I'm really, really stoked on this. I want to play you guys a quick little teaser here of the new shit. This is the opening track right here. Become the Firestorm. Yeah. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? This shit's pissed. Pissed.
Now become, kill the pain, I'm breaking the shackles, endless, let my spirit rise. I will not be denied, rage against the dying light. Fearless, so vicious and violent, I'll fight this struggle to the death, until nothing is left. Pounding fist, the beating chest, screaming to my dying breath. Become the firestorm, become the firestorm. This never twisted in time. Become the firestorm, become the firestorm.
Oh yeah. Check out this break, too.
If there was ever a time in my life, that time is now. Take this weakness that cuts like a knife and smash it down. Oh, come on. Whoa.
Fucking floor wrecker right there.
If there was ever a time in my life, that time is now. Take this weakness.
Yeah, you're gonna be stoked. You're gonna be stoked on this shit. This is track 2, Rotten.
My mouth is cracked and dry, the words are choking by. My teeth are gritting at the rage, I feel it. My stomach tight in knots, the clenching muscles tight, about to explode inside the anger building. I'm sat with gun in hand, build a temple, can't understand. Bleeding an open sore, these wounds I can't ignore. I am the
crowd.
misbegotten, let this horror be forgotten. Everything is rotten to the core. Oh, everything is rotten to the core. Oh,
Fucking guitars, motherfuckers. Guitars.
Black blood, red pill, razor and score. Love, God, hate, kill. This is a war. I stare into the black anxiety.
But this song right here might be one of the best songs I've ever written. So proud of this one. This is the title track. Jared with the harmony. Tell you what, I'm really proud of what Jared and I were able to accomplish on this. So proud of this song. And I'm going to need you guys, I'm going to need you to fight like hell for this band. I'm going to need you to fight like hell for this band. I mean, you know what's happening. You know what's going to come. There's going to be all kinds of motherfuckers hating on this shit. Talking shit. Fucking spamming the comments. Don't even try and reason with these motherfuckers. Flat earth motherfucker. Like, don't even try and reason. Just fuck you, machine fucking head. Now, these are some awesome songs. You know, I want to, I want to take metal to a whole nother level with these songs, with this next album. I want metal to get the respect it deserves. It's still a fucking third-class citizen to fucking most other kinds of music. We play our own instruments. We write our own songs. I want the whole genre to be looked at and respected the way it deserves to be respected. You know, there's going to be all kinds of people trying to shit all over this just like they always do. Fuck them. Fuck them. I'm going to say it one more time. I need you to fight like hell for this band. Fight like hell for these songs. Fight like hell for the other head cases and what this band stands for. Don't let anybody get away with popping off the shit they pop off. Whether it's a magazine or a news aggregator or whoever the fuck it is. I need you, head cases. I need you. Stand up for us. Tell you what, motherfuckers aren't ready. You're not ready. They ain't ready for this shit. So I tell you what, that excitement about this music that I'm so proud of carries over into this interview here. Because I tell you what, Ahrue Luster and Christian Machado and Diego, who actually runs Fellowship brand. We didn't even get to that. He runs a awesome beard company, beard care company. It's killer. Fellowship brand. Check it out. Cool logo, B logo. Shit smells so good. Oh, it's the manly smell. I put this shit on my beard and I'm like, I smell like a fucking man, god damn it. Shit's awesome. Shout out to Diego. He hooked me up with some killer like beard wax and some oil and shit to like help keep it all healthy. And yeah, it's good. Check it out. Fellowship brand. Anyway, right here we got their new band, Lions at the Gate. This is their first single that just dropped, Not Even Human. Check this shit out. It's a fucking banger. It's really good. I really dig it. They've just put out a cool video that looks excellent, very professional. I think that these guys are going to do really well. I think that you're going to dig it. Ooh, it sounds cool in the headphones. Sounds heavy as fuck. That production is sick. Good shit. Good shit, right? Fucking heavy. Buckaroo, killing it. Christian, sounds killer. Yeah, I think these guys are going to do good, man. I'm excited for them. Can't wait to hear what they do. They're going to be dropping some more songs. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. That's the new Lions at the Gate track. Not Even Human. I'm going to take you to my interview. My old guitar mate, Ahrue Luster, a.k.a. the mighty mighty Ahrue Luster. Ahrue Luster.
Hey, how's
Buckaroo.
it going, man?
Buckaroo.
Yep.
How you doing, man?
That was my name when I was in Machine Head, Buckaroo. And then it got shortened to Buck.
Buck, I know. It was Buck for the longest time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody called you Ahrue after a while.
No, everybody was just like, "Hey, Buck, what's up?" Oh, but then it got turned into Bucky after that for a while.
Right. After the stop, the truck stop, right?
I don't know what was the catalyst for that.
Yeah. Well, there's a famous truck stop in the South called Buc-ee's that's like fucking enormous, and it's like you go there at 3 a.m. and everything's open, and they got it's like a kind of like a Target almost, except for it's got truck stop shit.
Yeah, I think I've been to one of those. I think I've been to a few of those actually.
I think that's where Bucky came from.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. All this time.
How you been, man? I guess I saw you about maybe 15 months ago, right before the pandemic hit in Denver.
Yeah, when you guys played the Gothic.
Right.
I've been good. I've been actually really good for the most part. But I have been through a lot of things like recently. Starting about 6 years ago, I went through like both my parents' deaths, went through some friends' deaths, and then I went through my marriage falling apart.
Oh,
and then and then my band, all the stuff with my band. So we lost the band, we lost the name. But it was kind of like the roughest 6 years of my life, but I feel like I'm on the upswing now. So things are looking better.
Rad. Your new song is fucking awesome. And look, I'm sorry to hear about your parents. I got to say, I was thinking about your dad the whole way driving here, because your dad used to come out to the shows all the time, and he was always super cool and super chill, could like just fucking hang with anybody and was easy. And I just have I have so many good memories of him being around, like just his vibe. And
that's cool. Thanks.
I remember him. He had like did he practice like Tai Chi or something?
He did Tai Chi.
Yeah. He did Tai Chi, and he was just like, he was giving me an instruction about like, he was like, try and push me over. Like we were on the bus, and he was like, try and push me over. And I was like, I can't push you over. Like, what are you talking about? I don't want to hurt my guitar player's dad. And he's just like, no, he's like, you're not going to hurt me. And I was just like, he's like, try and push me over. And he was explaining about Tai Chi, but he was just like, he did whatever he did. And I was like trying to push him over, and I couldn't push him over. And I was just like, he was just like, that's Tai Chi right there.
Yeah, that's totally him. I mean, everybody he would do that. I'd be embarrassed when I was a kid, because he would do that to strangers when we were at a bus stop.
You're like, Dad, stop.
Yeah.
He was cool though, man. I gotta say, that's one of my, I don't know. That's a big memory for me. I don't know why. It was just cool. It was just always cool to hang out with. And
yeah, he was really personable, and he could relate with anybody. And he had stories for days where he would just tell stories about things, crazy things that may have happened in his life, or just he was just very entertaining. And that brought up some memories for me, and I'll always miss him. And it's I miss him, man.
Did he pass away under like good circumstances, or was
it was pancreatic cancer?
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Rough.
I mean, the good thing was that it wasn't anything lingering. It's like we found out he had it, and then within like 2 months it progressed and he was gone.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, at least it was merciful.
Yeah. And the one thing that, it's like, I realized, the one thought that helped me and carried me through it all was realizing that it's something that pretty much every human has to go through at some point, when your parents pass away, and that it was just my turn, and that kind of just helped me through it all. Did
your father pass away before your mom?
Yeah, it was it was about a year later that my mom passed away.
Good.
And she wasn't in good health, and she didn't really take care of herself. So I kind of saw that coming. Like with my dad, I didn't see it coming at all. But my mom, you know, it's like, I knew, you know, when it happened, it didn't surprise me.
Yeah. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but were your mom and your dad together, or did your dad remarry?
He had a girlfriend that was kind of like my stepmom, and then she ended up passing away like a week after my mom.
Oh wow,
so,
crazy!
Yeah, it was just
random.
Crazy. Yeah, I think they both loved my dad, and after he was gone, and they just kind of, you know, went too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a rough period, man.
It was. I mean, definitely not fun, and it was painful, but you know, I did grow a lot from it, and like I said, it's something that almost every human has to experience one time or another, and it was just my turn at that time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I got to say it happens to everybody, and you can't dwell on it. You got to move on.
Exactly.
Remember the good things and try and let go of the bad things if you can.
Yeah. And then another thing is like, you're the only thing left of their DNA. So it's like, you want to honor that and just try to be the best person that you can be, and carry them forward through you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited for you, man. This new thing is awesome. Lions at the Gate.
Wow. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot.
It's really cool. Like, I love the video. Like, I just listened to the song a bunch of times on the way over here. I mean, I had already listened to it on Instagram, but like, I heard it in my car stereo.
Yeah.
It's banging, dude.
Right on, man.
Like, fucking production's killer.
Thank you so much, man. That means a lot to me. That honestly means a lot to me. I mean, and we couldn't have made this record with the, you know, the other situation that we were in, and it's something that we all are very proud of. And it's the cool thing is that everybody in the band is 100% involved and is a hard worker, and we work well as a team. Like, nobody's egos get in the way. You know, of course they do a little bit here and there, but it's like, we always see what's in the best interest of the team. And I'm very happy with the situation that we have. And it's one of those things that happened in my life that I feel like, you know, when it was falling apart for us, it seemed like the worst thing in the world, but now I feel like it was the best thing in the world that everything fell apart.
What's tell me about so it's you and Christian and Diego from Ill Nino, right? And no one else from Ill Nino, just the three.
Yeah, just the three of us from Ill Nino.
Right. Cool.
And Stephen Brewer he was in Westfield Massacre when Tommy Vex was in it.
Okay.
And we did it. We had a drummer lined up, but then at the last minute he kind of bailed out, and we already had the videos set up. So I just I couldn't sleep one night, and I was looking on YouTube, and I found this kid, Fernando Lemus, on YouTube, playing a bunch of like Bring Me the Horizon and Slipknot covers, and then some death metal covers, like super technical stuff, but super rocking stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to give this guy a call. So I just reached out to him like the next day. And also I saw an interview with him that he was on a podcast, and I could tell that he was a really honest, good dude. And I was like, man, this guy's a really good dude. I'm just going to reach out and see what happens. And then he was into it. And within 2 weeks, he was shooting the video.
Wow. Kick ass. So he didn't play on the record, but he's in the video. And is he in the band?
Yeah, he's totally in the band.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fuck, awesome. Yeah, very cool. Like, very cool vibe, man. I was into it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
How did this all, I mean, you guys, this is the first single, you know, you guys did a lot of teasers. It was very cool, like kind of built the anticipation. And then this is leading into a new record.
Yeah, we have a whole record finished. And the crazy thing is the song that we released is like maybe our 5th or 6th favorite song on the album. And we have a lot of material that we feel is the best thing that we've ever done. You know, the 3 of us have ever done together, including everything we did in the past. Right. And so we're super excited. We're trying to get, I mean, we're hoping with the single, we're going to get some industry attention, and that hopefully the next single that's going to come out is going to have some kind of backing behind it. But what we wanted to do is just release this to just kind of create the buzz. And it actually, we were completely surprised at the reception that it had. And we were blown away, actually. And we were really happy with it.
Killer. So this is all like self-release, self-funded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Up to now. Yeah. You're
putting it out through like a TuneCore or something like that?
We have Blood Blast doing distribution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they're doing the distribution, and we have Costa Nostra for PR.
Sweet.
For the song. Yeah.
Shout out to Michelle. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, totally back in the day, she was our girl.
Yeah. She's awesome. I love her. She's like if Elizabeth Taylor and Lemmy had a baby. That's what she is to me. She's just she's just such a badass, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she totally is. Yeah.
It's like you got the class, but you got she can fucking drink she'll fucking drink your ass under the table.
Totally. And I've seen her pound away plenty of drinks over the time. Hell. Yeah, we've known her for like 30 years or something like that.
Right, 99. Yeah, I guess she came on board at the end of the Burn My Eyes. That's where I guess I met her.
So, okay, I met her on the Burning Red.
Right, totally. No, so you guys got a whole album recorded. Mm-hmm. Do you have is there an album name? Is there, are you just going to drop singles like every month or every couple of months for the next bit of time, or?
We're not sure yet, because if from this we get management and a label, then it will kind of make a plan with whoever's on board. Okay. But right now we're just releasing this single, and we have another single ready to go if we need to. But right now, that's the plan, is just to release this one.
Yeah, this just came out like a week ago or something, right?
Yeah, like literally a week ago.
Yeah, and it's already got 11,000 streams on Spotify, which is fucking. I mean, you're a brand new band. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's. I mean, we were blown away. And we're just excited. Yeah, we're super excited about it. Like, I haven't been this excited probably since we did the Burning Red.
Wow, killer. I know Matt Alston loves it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's our guy, man. We love
my
Matt.
Drummer. Your old guy, my current drummer. He fucking loves it. He's just so into it. Like, every time I talk to him, he's like, "Dude, this fucking record's so good."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we love Matt, man. We have so many stories with that guy. Because we got Matt. I think what we did when we were in Ill Nino, we made a deal with his band to bring them on tour, but they had to tech for us.
We're not gonna pay you. We want you to work for us.
Yeah. So
and they did it, right?
Yeah, and then Matt stayed ever since. Yeah. and
He's
throughout the years, yeah, he was one of the most, I don't even want to say one of the most, he was definitely the hardest working tech we've ever had.
Yeah.
And when he went to tech for you guys, I knew that he was going to do a great job, and I knew that you guys would be in good hands with him. And he's just like, he'll do anything like to make the show go on. It's like he's like Clint Eastwood of teching or something.
Right.
I don't know.
It's funny because for the longest time, I didn't even know Matt played drums. Like, I had no idea that he even, and then he got on the kit one time and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, holy shit. He busted out something super hard, like a Machine Head song or like Meshuggah Bleed or something. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he played some shows with us too. There was a couple times where Dave he had like a passport issue or some issue where he couldn't get there for a show, and Matt just filled in.
Wow.
And he even did a tour with us.
Oh, killer.
Yeah. It was I think Dave had a passport issue, and Matt just did it was like a 2-week European tour, played every night. Perfect.
Nice. So eventually you guys had to pay him. You couldn't continue to take his band on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, we started paying him after that.
Was that like a UK tour that you guys did? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a UK tour. And his band was really good too. I forget the name. I forget what their name was, but they were really good. And we're like, man, the guitar player was amazing too.
Cool. Yeah, he was telling me all kinds of stories about how Ill Nino was like the fucking Beatles in South America. That you guys were just massive down there.
Yeah, there was a couple shows. Like, I mean, we played a show in Sao Paulo, I think, and it like the bus was coming up to the venue. Like we were in one of those charter buses, taking us from our hotel, and it was like half a block away, and it took us like 2 hours to get there because there were so many people.
Holy crap!
And he had the bus driver had to like go like 1 foot every minute, pretty much.
Wow, that's amazing.
But I'm sure that's what would happen if you guys went there too.
Was it like girl? Did you have a lot of? Ours would be a lot of dudes doing it. You probably, you probably had a lot of girls doing it.
It was girls and guys.
Was it okay?
Yeah, but I mean, because down there, everybody, wanted to meet me because of Machine Head.
Okay.
So I'm sure you guys would do amazing down there.
Yeah, I mean, they're so passionate down there. It's fucking awesome. Like you show up at a hotel and there's just so many people outside your hotel. You're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I'm just ready to go take a shit and go to bed.
Exactly.
No, well, I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you. I hope this thing does good, and I think that everything I've seen at least has been really kind of overwhelmingly positive. Like I haven't really seen anything negative, so that's great to see.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, we're super excited, and can't wait to get it out on the road, and I can't wait for people to hear the whole record.
Yeah,
I would say it's my second favorite record that I've ever done, aside from the Burning Red.
Yeah, is Burning Red your favorite?
Yeah, that's always going to be my favorite, no matter what.
Was that, I was listening to something when I kind of researched you even though I've known you for a while. I just wanted to kind of get up to speed on, many other aspects of your life. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about, I guess you were talking about the first record you ever did. And it made me think, was Burning Red the first record that you did?
Yeah.
Ever recorded? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I recorded my first record on Reel to Reel, and I was like, I couldn't remember if Horde of Torment recorded an album, and so. No,
we did a couple demos, and I think with Man-Made God we did like a EP, but like a full record, The Burning Red was my first for sure.
Right on. That's a pretty good first record.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the whole experience. I mean, from the time that we went down there. I mean. To the when we went down there to mix the record and the touring cycle, and that whole experience, the whole couple of years was probably some of the best moments of my life.
Rad. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we partied a lot too, and
fuck. Oh my God. It was out of hand.
Yeah, I remember there was this one time. It was one of the U.S. tours that we did on it, and you were saying, "Hey, man, when was the last time that you weren't drunk?" And I was like, I couldn't even think. It was like maybe 30 days ago.
I just remember and maybe it was just the times too. Like it just seemed like everyone was on cocaine, everywhere, all the time, at any time. Like it was just I don't recall that drug being so prevalent in the scene. I mean, obviously people had coke back in the day, but it seemed like every person we went up to, every band we hung out with, every person we were kicking it with, like everyone had fucking cocaine. It was insane.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I mean, I think that was the last time that like metal touring was anywhere near what like Motley Crue was doing, Right. And then from there it became more serious, and I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah, but that whole era was just fucking insane. Like I remember, and I'd never really done that. When I recorded "Burn My Eyes," I was sober. Like I was dead sober. Like fucking
Yeah.
didn't do a drop, didn't smoke anything, it wasn't even taking fucking aspirin. And and then the more things changed, I think I kind of started drinking here and there. But like that record was really like just all right. Let's jump off the wagon. Like
Yeah,
high as we can into the air.
it was full on.
Yeah.
But they were good times though. I mean, we would I remember when we went down to mix the record with Terry Date, and we were staying at that hotel up the street from Larrabee Studio, and then we'd go to those Dean car parties every night.
Yeah.
And those parties were pretty insane.
Fuck.
Just like everybody from like Marilyn Manson to Blur to like, anybody.
We got in a big argument with the Blur dickhead.
Yeah.
He was such a douchebag.
Totally. And
he kept on trying to drink our vodka. I'm like, hey man, fucking go get your own. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and he's like
just like walking up to a stranger and like taking their vodka and starting to pour it. Like, hey, give me that fucking back. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and he was like, well, I come from a little island, England. But yeah, those were good times, man. Like that whole touring cycle, the whole making that record. Those were some of the best times of my life. Right
on. That's awesome. Take me back to you grew up in Vegas, right?
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time in Vegas. My parents had this weird deal that they thought would be good, where each one of them would keep me for a year. And my dad, they both started, I was born in Chicago and that's where I started. But then my dad moved to Hawaii and my mom moved to Vegas. So I would go back and forth between Hawaii and Vegas most of my life until I was about 14. And I just told them that I don't want to do that anymore. And then I stayed in Vegas. Okay. From 14 until I was 19 when I moved to the Bay Area.
Why not Hawaii?
Yeah.
It was just too remote in Hawaii.
Well, I liked living with my mom. I liked living with my mom more at the time because she let me get away with more shit.
Okay. Gotcha. And your dad was practicing chi with strangers at the bus stop while you're going to school.
Yeah. And he was strict. Like he'd make me read books and do book reports, and he made me do Tai Chi too. Okay. Like I had to go to Tai Chi class 3 days a week, and it wasn't really something I enjoyed, but later on I realized the benefits of it. Like it gave me discipline. So like when I have to practice guitar or there's something, I can practice for hours because of the discipline my dad instilled in me. So when I grew up, I learned to appreciate my dad more than my mom. But as a kid, you like whoever lets you get away with the most shit.
Right.
So.
Right. So you left, that must have been pretty cool going. What island on Hawaii?
Just Oahu, the main island.
Oahu, yeah. That's fucking awesome. Like that's a cool vibe right there. You're not like you're not Waikiki, but somewhere else.
No, I was right in Waikiki.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah, I lived in this high-rise building. It was like probably about 2 blocks from the beach, and there was on the bottom floor there was a steakhouse called Hys, Hys. And when I was living there, it was the time they were filming Magnum PI. Oh. So like every time every once in a while I'd come home from school and see a red Ferrari parked out there. And it was Tom Selleck, because he'd take the car off the lot and go to the steakhouse for lunch.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You're like, what's up, Tom Selleck? What's up, Magnum PI?
I never actually ran into him, but I saw the Ferrari plenty of times.
You knew it was Tom Selleck's Ferrari.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty weird. And honestly, like you got this big star like kicking it right next to your house.
Yeah.
That show was fucking massive at the time. That show is insane.
Yeah, it was a good show. Like I love going back and watching those episodes to this day. And they're really good shows. And one of the things is that I like to see Hawaii when I live there. So it's the time that I lived there. So everything that I see is like, wow, I remember that. But then I started to actually appreciate the show. And it's a pretty good show for that time.
I feel like Tom Selleck's a pretty good actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. Who was I just talking to? I was just talking to somebody about, it's so random you brought up Tom Selleck. Someone was just talking to me about Tom Selleck and how he used to wear, I guess he used to wear short shorts, like back in the day. Like, you know, he just
like those ones that go super high.
Yeah. But all the girls were like, he's got the sexiest legs. And I was just having a conversation with somebody about how Tom Selleck apparently had the sexiest legs. And I was like, really? I don't remember it. No, go back and look. He used to wear them short shorts.
Check out a couple episodes of Magna PI. You'll see.
I'll go back. I'll go back and revisit it.
Yeah. I mean, there was always those kind of like, they do a couple chest hair shots and stuff too. Like I wasn't into that part of it, but the rest of the show was good.
Was your dad and his girlfriend, like, was there music around the house all the time? Did he play an instrument?
Yeah, he played the flute.
Okay.
And he would play all the time. Kind of just like one thing that I noticed, one thing I realized about my dad, and I think it's kind of genetic, is he had a really good ear. So like he could hear a song, and he never had any kind of training or anything, but he could hear a melody and then just pick up the flute and play it. Okay. And then I think he had like a complex chord, like an ear for complex chords. So he was like into like really complex jazz and stuff like that. Even though he wasn't like ever any kind of great musician or anything, I know that he had like a good perception and feel of music.
Yeah,
but his timing sucked though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I kind of got some of that too, but I work on it.
It's funny. I remember him talking about jazz a lot. Now that you mentioned that, like, he was really into what's the one guy, the trumpet player,
Miles Davis.
Yes.
Yeah, Miles Davis, Coltrane were his favorites. Like he actually saw those guys perform like back in the day.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
that kind of I would imagine that rubbed off in you in some way, you know, like some of that musicality.
Totally. And more than that, he was just a creative soul, you know, like he would spend all his time like playing music, writing, and, you know, writing in his journal or drawing or painting. He was just always creative, and he wanted me to be creative. And like the first time I got a regular job, I was like, yeah, I got this job at Frito-Lay and I got benefits. He's like, I guess that's okay. Just don't forget about your music. So it was like I had a lot of support from him pursuing an artful lifestyle.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
so
awesome to hear. It's not always like that, you know.
Most of the time it's not, and I can really appreciate that.
Yeah. I remember you working at Frito-Lay.
Yeah, right before I joined the band, that's where I was working, and I had a boss at the time, and I was like, I got to give my 2 weeks notice. He's like, why? He's like, I just joined this big band, and he's like, because we were talking, and you're like, you're gonna have to lose the job. And I was like, all right, no problem.
But for touring?
Yeah, well, just everything, you know, Machine Head related, like,
right.
Like,
yeah, we're gonna put you on salary, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then first I gave him a 2 weeks, and then like 2 days later, I was like, man, I can't even do the 2 weeks. I'm out of here.
That's funny. I remember something you said about Frito-Lay. I've said this a bunch of times throughout my life, but it was like that Frito-Lay had a theory: new shit sells the old shit. So new flavors sell nacho cheese Doritos or whatever. Yeah.
A big part of their marketing is new flavors. So they always have to have new flavors. Like every month there's a new flavor, even though it may not last for more than 3 months or whatever. That just because it's a new flavor, it's going to sell for a while.
Yeah. It's funny because like when it comes to many things that, you know, many aspects of life, like that's the case, you know, like if you got a merch store, like new merch sells the old merch. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. That little nugget of information though has stuck in my head all these 20 years later or whatever.
That's crazy. that's funny.
So many things that are important that should have stayed in there have gone away, but that worthless information that you said stuck in my mind.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That, you know what, like, I can see, like, I mean, I'm sure you've had the chips in the dressing room and like in the UK and stuff. Yeah. And they have I don't know if they're called Lay's. I think it's the same company, but it may be called something else over there. But they have like weird flavors like shrimp cocktail.
Yes. And bacon flavor.
Lamb and mint.
Yeah. Curry. Yeah, the curry potato chips.
Yeah. And then they have the one that tastes like barbecue, but it's called paprika.
Yeah. I don't mind. I'm kind of gotten used to them now at this point. At first, I was like, these are fucking gross. But
yeah. I'll do the paprikas, but I never even put the lamb and mint in my mouth ever.
Yeah, the shrimp ones were just like, yeah, no, I don't know. No one needs to have shrimp flavor on a potato chip.
Yeah.
I mean, in Japan, that's probably a big hit. I could see that being popular there.
Yeah, I could see that totally.
Yeah. So you're there. So then you stay in Vegas for a while, and you do you start playing in bands around that time, or like late teen?
Yeah, like I started playing guitar when I was about 14, and I kind of really realized that that's what I wanted to do when I was 14. Like I was like, all right, this is it, man. I got to do this. This is what I got to do. So I practiced a lot. Like I would practice. Like I was into Yngwie at the time, and I read an interview that he practiced 8 hours a day. Oh. So yeah, and I was like, man, I got to practice 8 hours a day. So so I would try, and I would only get to about 5, and I'd be bummed out. I was like, fuck, man, I didn't get my 8 hours in.
That's like a job.
Yeah. So I got pretty good pretty fast. And then I kind of early on, I had a band there. My first band was called Strychnine with some of the same guys that were in the Horde of Torment, or at least Kevin was in Strychnine. Okay. And
Kevin was your singer.
Yeah, he was the singer bass player. And then that didn't last too long, and then we formed Pestilence right after that. And then we took that from there. We were like, I think we got to the point, that we could in Vegas. So let's go to, because we were trying to be a thrash band, but we were really a cross between, I don't even want to say two bands. It was like a cross between 2 albums. It was Dark Angel, Darkness Descends, and Slayer, Rain and Blood.
Those are two. If Dark Angel and Slayer had a baby, that's
yeah.
Was that so? Pestilence was thrash too.
Yeah,
it sounds like a thrash band. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and then we made the decision that all right, well, we got to take this to where thrash is king, and that's the Bay Area. So we made the decision to move to the Bay Area. When
you're playing guitar for 5 hours a day, though, are you playing thrash songs? Are you playing along to thrash records or like glam records, or what are you learning?
It was mostly like scales and stuff.
Okay.
And that was before, but then the thrash thing came a little bit later. And then I think then I was like, I went through spurts where I practiced that much. Like I didn't always practice 5 hours a day. But there was a spurt where I got right in the beginning, I got good really fast, and then I got to a certain level and kind of plateaued. Mm-hmm. And that's probably when I got more into thrash. And I spent a lot of time writing songs and stuff. Yeah. And the very first song I ever wrote was, I forget the name of the song, but basically I took A Lesson in Violence by Exodus and copied part for part, but added my own part instead of their part.
I'm so glad that you said that. Like, that's all we did too. Was like, let's take that Slayer riff and change like 2 notes. Fuck, that sounds killer.
So that's how I learned how to write songs, is just like copying other songs. Okay, this is when they go into that part, but we'll go into this part.
Yeah. So you guys but you're jamming at this point, like jamming with other people, and doing that as a band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got who's your drummer in Pestilence?
Oh, Joey Capabianca.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, Joey Capabianca, and Scott Savage was the other guitar player.
Okay, right on.
And that was the
Scott was your guitar
band.
player, and Scott was your guitar player in Horde of Torment too, right?
Yeah, it was the same band. We just had to change our name because of the Dutch Pestilence.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because when we started, there was like probably about 4 other Pestilences that we knew about. And we heard all of them and we're like, all right, we're better than all them. So we don't have to change our name. But then the Dutch Pestilence ends up getting signed and then we had to be the ones to change our name.
Right. That must have been good times though. These are like your first, maybe like your first VFW halls or kegger parties or,
kegger
parties or something, right?
Yeah. They had desert parties in Vegas and they would bring, there was a couple locations they did it, but one was called Losi Road, and they would bring a generator out to this. It was kind of like this water duct area where there was this big slab of concrete in the middle of the desert, and it took about an hour to get there. And they had like touring punk bands go there.
Yeah,
like
I never heard about this.
Yeah, No Effects and man, there was a lot. Oh, COC played out there. When
like
they were
the punk rock COC, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of punk shows. And it was like right, because during that time, thrash wasn't big at all. And there was maybe like 5 other kids in my school that liked thrash metal, and everybody else liked, butt rock.
Yeah, it was still like underground at this point.
Yeah, so
what year is this? Like 86?
89, I think.
Okay.
87 through 89. Okay. And one of those kids in my school was Mitch Harris.
Mitch Harris, yeah.
So
from Napalm Death.
Yeah. And we went to school together, and somebody else that went to school with us was Tony Fredinelli, and he ended up in Third Eye Blind.
Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah.
He didn't go the thrash route.
Yeah, he didn't go the thrash route. Me and Mitch Mitch went really hard. I went kind of like, a little.
He was your friend, like he was hanging out with you guys during this whole time?
Yeah, I saw him like 2 weeks ago. I hung out with Mitch 2 weeks ago.
No, the Tony guy from 30 Eye Blind.
Oh yeah, he wasn't as close as Mitch was.
Okay.
Like Mitch was a good friend, and he's always going to be one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But Tony was like, he ate at our lunch table sometimes, but we also, we weren't that close with him. Right. I'm actually really good friends with his sister though.
Gotcha. Right on.
And I forgot where I was going with the story.
what's the name of the guy? I want Pepper or Shipper or Punker?
Punker.
No, not Punker. Who's the dude down in Vegas? The fucking crazy motherfucker that you guys all hung out with. That you all he used to sing for.
Oh, Joe Caper.
Caper. That's it. Caper. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to school with us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all in high school together. And we were talking about the
desert parties.
Yeah, so because there was only like 5 thrashers in the whole school, we hung out with the punks because we didn't want to hang out with like the Bon Jovi crowd.
Right.
So we went to punk shows and then bands like DRI were coming out at the time where they were mixing metal and punk, and that was kind of our scene when we were in Vegas.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
And they it was an awesome scene, man. And they accepted us too, like, cause we were fast and we were like, you could slam to it. So they accepted us as well. Like our music.
Yeah. So this is your first show. This is your first time ever playing.
Uh-huh.
And you're like 16, 17?
About 17.
Yeah. Do you get hammered before you play?
I would drink about 3 beers. That was about my limit. Cause then after that, I probably think my playing started to suffer after 1 beer, but in your mind, you think you're playing good.
Right. Then you play sober and you're like, fuck, I'm playing way better. Yeah.
But it takes practice, like if you drink every night and play, you can get good at it.
Yeah. I can totally attest to that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Like just that muscle memory after a while. It's like, yeah, I can. And then you don't drink in one time and you're like, fuck, I'm playing like shit.
Yeah, totally. Like we played one time we played when in Ill Nino, we played a festival with Dragon Force.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys played with them. Those guys drink so much. Like they have Jack Daniels on the stage and they just pound it. And right before the show, I'm not sure, I don't know their names or anything, but one of the guitar players, because one doesn't drink, the Asian guy doesn't drink, right?
Yeah, it's Sam who drinks a lot. Sam's a figure.
They had to like tilt him up onto the stage. Like they carried him to the stage and they tilted him up. And then he just like, it was like he didn't miss a beat. He just ran out there and started shredding. But he was drunk off his ass.
Yeah, that was him. But we took him on tour with us, and that was him most nights. Just faced. Pretty fucking funny though. Like a really like super dry humor, very self-deprecating. Like I had him on the podcast. He was great. He's classic.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and hear that one. I don't really know him personally or anything, but I was just like amazed at like how he could do that. And then I was standing on the side of the stage, and I forget. I think the bass player. I forget his name. He's really cool.
Oh, Frederic,
yeah, Fred. Yeah. He gave me the Jack Daniels bottle, and I was like the Jack Daniels tech. So every time, like every couple minutes, one of them would come back and like lean back while they were still playing, and I would pour Jack Daniels into their mouth.
I love Frederic is the best, man.
He's such an awesome guy, man.
He's fucking classic character.
And that's one of my fondest memories of them being their Jack Daniels tech.
He's a sick guitar player too, dude.
Oh, is he?
He's ridiculous. Like that's fucking insane guitar player.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you're doing these shows. How do you rate your first show? Did you guys kill it? Was it fun? Was it a disaster? Was it?
I mean, we probably didn't play that great, but the crowd just went amazing. Like crowd went bananas just because, I mean, we just started playing, I think back then it's like anytime someone starts playing that thrash beat, the crowd just goes into a frenzy.
Right.
So, and all our songs were like the speed of like Dark Angel and Rain of Blood. Yeah.
Do you get laid at your first show? Do you get a groupie that first night?
No, I didn't. No.
Did anybody in the band get a groupie that night?
I don't think so. I think we just got shit-faced drunk, and I don't even remember what happened after the show. But I think Kevin has pictures.
Okay.
So I mean, he's kind of like the archiver of all that time. So he has all kinds of Horde of Torment memorabilia and stuff like that.
Had you already been laid at this point, like 17 in a band? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
But not, I was a little late. I was about 16.
Yeah, but it wasn't was it because you were in a band?
No, but I looked like I was in a band. So
did you have long hair back then?
Yeah, I had long hair.
Cool. I mean, like back then though, you had long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started growing my hair when I was about 14, when I decided that I wanted to be a rocker.
Nice.
So
that's pretty classic. When do you remember getting your first Pestilence groupie, or whatever you guys were called before that? Strychnine.
I don't even know. Like I think I started having more women in my life, or I guess they weren't even women at that time because we were all underage.
Yeah, totally.
But so I just started having more girls in my life at that time, but not like, I don't know if any time it was like directly after a show type of thing.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right on. So you're single for pretty much this whole time. Like you don't have a girlfriend or nothing.
Yeah. All the way up until about, I was 18. And then I had my first girlfriend, and that lasted about 6 months, I think, something like that. But then when I moved to the Bay Area, I was single.
Right. Yeah. So how old are you when you moved to the Bay Area?
19.
God damn. That's that's crazy.
Yeah. It was,
that's a big move for 19 years old.
yeah, I mean, I was dead set on what I was like, this is what I want, man. This is like, no matter what, like, this is what I want. And I moved out. Oh, Marco Barbieri.
Yep.
So we met him, and he started managing us when we lived in Vegas, and it was partially his idea to bring us to the Bay Area.
Yeah, he had the no glam fags fanzine or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think that would apply too much these days, but yeah, that was the name.
Back
of
then, it was like the old. It was a good. I followed that zine. We had that zine. We checked it out. It was good. He knew his shit.
Yeah, yeah, and so he brought us
fags. so wouldn't fly today.
Yeah. He was going to school at the time in the Bay Area. I forget which school, but he was going to school for entertainment management.
Okay. Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah. And so when I moved up, I stayed with him on his dorm.
Oh, okay.
And I moved
dorm.
Yes. And I moved up there a month before everybody else and found a house for everybody to move to.
Oh, wow.
So he would go to school.
I didn't realize how much this was like your decision or whatever to like, let's take the band to the Bay Area.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I think, I don't know if Marco presented it to us or as my idea. Like, I can't remember, but I know that it was like a definite plan and everybody agreed to it. And, yeah. So the way that it worked out was, I was going to come up before everybody else and find a house for everybody. And then everybody else would come up after that. And so, we'd be, like I'd just be staying on his dorm while he was in college. And then during the weekends we'd go house hunting. And then we finally found a place. Like we had a place and everybody packed up the U-Haul and started driving. And then they found out that it was like a bunch of like, long-haired teenagers moving in. So they told us no. And so we didn't even have a place for everyone to move to. And luckily at the last minute, this lady felt bad for us and a place fell through for us. So it was pretty crazy how we ended up getting there.
You guys moved to Hayward?
We started in Fremont.
Oh, Fremont. Right. Okay.
Or Newark.
Okay.
It was like right off of Fremont.
Yeah. So like a nice southern, South Bay Area suburb.
Yeah.
Because then I didn't live in Fremont at that time, but I had lived in Fremont for the 6 years prior to that. Almost like, the second you guys moved in is when I moved out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and Craig was also part of the reason that, because Craig started coming to see us while we lived in Vegas. Because Craig's from Vegas too.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay.
So he was like the first person that we knew when we moved out.
Yeah. He probably even helped arrange that place in Fremont or Newark because that's where he would have been living.
Yeah. I don't think he had anything to do with the house, but he definitely like introduced us to the scene.
Yeah. Right.
And he was very, he was really, all the guys in Forbidden were really kind of helping us out when we moved there.
Yeah. Shout out to Craig LaCicero from Forbidden, Dress the Dead,
Man-Made God.
Man-Made God. Yeah.
Spiral Arms.
Yes.
Yeah. And, but I met you before we moved out. Like the very first time I met you was Vio-Lence and Voivod at the Channel in Boston.
Oh, really? Wow. What were you doing in Boston?
My dad was living there at the time, and I went out to visit him, and I saw that Vio-Lence was playing, so I went to the show.
Oh, okay. And we talked like after the show or something?
I think, yeah. No, I know I talked to Phil. I don't know. I think I may have just said a couple words to you.
Okay.
And then I saw you one more time. It was like Death Angel and Vio-Lence in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
The crazy show. Holy fuck. I remember.
Yeah, that one was pretty crazy. I was in the pit at that one.
Dude, you're a brave man. That was a really violent show, man. Holy fuck. There was all those crazy gangbangers there. Like it was fucking nuts.
Wow, I was pretty fucked up, so I don't even remember that.
It was like a bunch of suicidal dudes came in and just fucking wrecking shop. It was like, holy fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a wild show. Right on.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw Death Angel.
Okay.
But that was the second time I saw Vio-Lence.
All right. And we didn't talk then?
I remember talking to Beth because Beth was there.
Beth Reisner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She probably
I don't know if I talked to the rest of you guys though.
Yeah, she was dating Sean, so she might have been around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so many so many ties, like all these Las Vegas connections, and then Craig to me because Craig and I are in Forbidden, and then I leave Forbidden. I'm in Vio-Lence, and
Yeah. And then you used to come party at our house in Newark.
Yeah, totally. I remember that.
You were hanging out with Joey a lot for a while.
Yeah, you guys had some ragers back then.
Yeah, we'd have some big parties, and I remember drinking, and I forget where it came from, but we were talking about what's a bustle in your head.
We were super shit faced at the end of one of you guys' parties, and for some reason, the song Remains the Same was on.
Oh yeah,
that movie, and we were watching it, and I was like, "What's a bustle in what?" And we just started cracking up. And that was like a long time joke that we carried on for a long time.
Yeah, I think for years, because I think we talked about that in Machine Head too.
Totally. What the fuck's
hey man, you got a bustle in your hedgerow.
Hey bro, you got a bustle in your hedgerow, man. That's funny.
And then I remember like after that party, you came, like we talked at a show, probably at the Omni or the Stone, and you're like, you know what? I learned what a bustle in the hedgerow was.
How did
and you told me what it was. So it's like, I didn't know what it was, like hedge row, like a row of hedges. And I guess it's like a knot in a row of hedges.
Ah, okay.
But you told me that.
That information is thankfully one of the things that was deleted.
Yeah, to make room for the Frito-Lay thing.
I had to make room for the Frito-Lay nugget of information. Some worthless things had to go.
Yeah.
To be replaced by other worthless things.
So something just got pushed out now then.
That's right. Yeah. Who knows? I can't remember motherfuckers' names to save my life, but I can remember some random thing that you said to me about Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
I literally have somebody will say their name and I'll be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And like 10 seconds later, I've forgotten their name. Like haunted me for years. It's like something that I should really know at this point because everybody tells me their name. Like, "Hey, it's so and so. Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, I have the same thing, and I started like taking notes in my phone. So like just writing them down and trying to remember people's names just to, be a better human being, basically.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. I tried doing that and I gave up after.
Yeah, I stopped too. Like it was something I tried for a while, but I didn't keep up with.
Yeah. I figure at this point, dude is universal enough. Oh, dude. Oh, I remember. Because it's weird because I can remember I can meet somebody, not remember their name, but I can remember the conversation. I can remember like what they look like. I can remember probably even like what they're wearing. Like I can remember all these details about it, but I can't remember the name of the person I'm having all this conversation about. It's weird.
Yeah, it might be like a right left brain thing. Because it's like I think the right brain is like good with concepts and things like that, and the left brain is details.
Okay, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I don't know.
I remember I loved that Horde of Torment demo. I thought you guys were killer.
Thank you.
Some fucking jams on there, man.
Right on, man. That's so cool, man. Yeah, that was probably our biggest, the song that people like the most. It was called As I Lay Dying.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Crazy. I wonder if that band knows that song existed.
I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to, like, who knows?
Yeah.
But we got it because, like, back in the day, it's like, when you research stuff to put in to thrash songs, like, you find your resources. And we used to go to the library and just like look up like book titles and stuff like that. And it was a book, As They Lay Dying.
Oh,
and so
okay.
Yeah, so we got it from the book. So they may have got it from the book too. I don't know.
Right. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yeah, you guys to me were always like you know, this was like 89 and it doesn't seem like that long, but this was, you were always like the proto death metal band to me, you know, like Possessed was death metal, you know, and they came up with the name death metal, but you guys were like doing death metal in the Bay Area thrash scene. Nobody was doing death metal, you know, like nobody was bringing in that kind of vibe into it.
Yeah.
And you guys had the thrash thing, but I always thought that was pretty cool. Maybe Sadist. I think Sadist had some death metal in him, but
yeah, I think Sadist. Yeah. But I never thought of it as death metal. I just always thought of it as thrash metal. And I just loved that Dark Angel album, Darkness Descends, and Rain and Blood at the time. And it was just kind of like, I just kind of combined everything I liked about both of those.
Yeah.
But I guess compared to it didn't have that Bay Area sound when we first moved there. And that's probably why early death metal kind of is so similar to thrash metal. So
yeah.
I could see how it could sound like death metal.
Yeah, it was cool. I dug it a lot, man. I remember I saw you guys at the Omni. I don't know how many times, probably 30 times or something.
Yeah, those Omni shows were the best.
Yeah, you guys kind of got in. Yeah, it must have been Forbidden who kind of took you under their wing and kind of like, because then after that, it seemed like you were on all the thrash shows, like every thrash show that came into town, Horde of Torment would open.
Yeah, like I think one of our biggest first shows was that show in Hayward, the Riot show.
Oh shit! Really? Oh
yeah.
I don't remember you guys being on that. Holy crap!
Yeah, we were on that show, and yeah, I totally remember. Yeah, and even to this day, like that's my favorite Death Angel album, Act 3. So I listen to that album a lot still. And whenever it gets disturbing the peace, it's about that Riot show.
Is it? Why don't you tell the story of what happened? What, you know, or your recollection of what happens at this show?
Man, I think Death Angel was on, and I don't know why the police came, but the police came in, and they said that they had to stop the show, and everybody's just like, you know, they were thrashers. They wanted to thrash. They didn't like that, so they just totally destroyed the whole entire venue, and it was a riot. And a lot of cops came, and that's what I remember. I mean, you might have some other details.
You guys opened the show.
Yeah, we opened the show.
Okay.
And it was us, Vio-Lence, Death Angel. I don't remember who else was on that.
There might have been somebody else. So this is how I remember it. It was so this was this is Hayward. This is in Hayward, California, which is not a city that ever has thrash shows ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like up until then it was Oakland or San Francisco, maybe Berkeley here and there. But like Hayward was like South Bay suburb. And so I don't even remember how it happened, but somebody rented out the Centennial Hall.
Oh yeah.
Like kind of like a convention hall.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really set up for shows. And it certainly didn't have, you know, this is, you know, in that kind of glorious time in the Bay Area thrash scene, like no security, like this is before, like, you know, like no barricade, no nothing, like it was just kind of long.
Yeah.
And it was Death Angel and Vio-Lence. And I remember I talked about this with Robb Cavastani on the podcast. It was funny because there was a big, I don't know if you remember, but there was all this drama between Death Angel and Vio-Lence. There was a big beef, and we were like all beefing.
Oh,
like
I didn't even know that.
We wanted to headline, and then they pulled rank, and they ended up headline. So we were like, there was all this like, you know, fucking teenage fucking bickering going on, and we were talking shit. And so we got up there, and we were like, we just fucking raged on the show, and the part of the stage started to fall down, and like it got unsafe, and that's why the police were called.
Oh,
so
okay.
it got like it got unsafe. So whoever ran the Centennial Hall called the police. We got to shut the show down. It's too fucking crazy. So then we went off. We were like, "Fuck you, follow that." And then Death Angel came on, and Death Angel like starts to play, and by then the police arrive. You know, and then it's just fucking chaos. And my most vivid memory from that show is the police had formed this kind of arm-in-arm wall with fucking riot gear.
Oh, yeah.
And they're fucking walking. And it was like something out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon where it's just like chairs and res and hats and beers and candy. It was like just getting pushed out of this venue. It was fucking nuts.
I remember going into the bathroom on the way out, and I think there was like toilets destroyed and the mirrors were broken.
All the fucking glass on the front, the whole front of the building was glass windows, and all the glass got knocked out.
Wow. That was pretty crazy. Like, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that could have a story like that.
Yeah, that was a wild night. That was a good one. That's crazy that you were there. That's fucking really cool. I hadn't thought about that in forever.
Yeah. That was that whole scene was such. I mean, just to have been part of that scene is like such an honor and such an awesome thing. You know, like all those Omni shows. I mean, we came in a little bit later. Like I never went to any of the Ruthie shows or any of that, but right. It was all about the Omni and the Stone when we moved there, and those shows were that was such an amazing scene because there wasn't really anywhere else to play. So anybody who played, you know, at the Omni or the Stone, everybody was there. Yeah. So like, you know, like we would headline and there'd be like 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
And you know,
you guys were transplants, you know?
Yeah. And we were from Vegas.
Yeah. It was some wild stuff. What, you guys recorded a couple demos.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
I think what had happened was that, it's like we had a sound and like Monty Connor was interested in us at that time.
Oh, okay. And, Monty from Roadrunner.
Yeah. And when we moved to the Bay Area, just the influence of being there and, you know, we were young, we started sounding more and more like Bay Area bands and losing our identity. And finally we made like our third demo and we were so proud of it. We're like, man, this is like the best thing we've ever done. And then a couple people got it, like we shopped it and they're like, now you guys just sound like all those other bands. So we were just like, it kind of just crushed us. And I don't think we really survived that, you know, getting to that point because we felt like we were so close to getting signed and then we just, you know, so we just at that point, some guys moved back and it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, and the scene kind of changed too. Like you guys were, like you said, you were kind of late to the scene and now it's like starting to get into like Black Album, Metallica's coming out, like, you know, Faith No More and Primus are starting to hit with the Chili Peppers and like now the thrash scene's kind of adding funk elements and like it kind of got weird there for a minute, you know, like.
Yeah, my take on that is like, I feel like, because like the funk scene and the thrash scene were kind of going side by side, but all the girls started going to where they could dance.
Yeah.
So after a while, it was
they weren't
just
coming to the thrash shows anymore.
Yeah. So like there was, I mean, so then you know half the crowd was gone, like the female half, because they were all at the Fungo Mungo shows and the Primus shows, and
right.
And then Seattle happened.
Right.
And so you know, like they like that whole scene, like the females just kind of left the scene, and then it was just a bunch of dudes like looking at each other, like what, you know. so then
the fuck, like, there's no girls here anymore.
And then Pantera came through. And Napalm Death came through and some other bands that it kind of like, it got heavier, I feel like. And then it really just kind of scared all the girls away. And then after a while, after the girls died, the scene died. I mean, after the girls left, yeah, it kind of died down.
I like that. That's a good take on it. I remember, did you go to that Napalm Death Godflesh show at the Omni when they came?
Yeah, I was there.
Fuck.
That show was amazing.
Fucking unreal show. Like, yeah. That show, Godflesh was crushed, like suffocatingly heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I remember they had no drummer. They just had a drum machine. So they just had a shit ton of fog.
Yeah.
Who could tell? I didn't even know they didn't have a drummer for like the first half hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, I totally remember that. There was so much fog.
Yeah.
That you couldn't even see that there was no drummer. And
Napalm came out and just fucking destroyed the place. That was when they had their old drummer. I want to say his name was like Mickey or something. I can't remember now, but he was a fucking madman and he fucking worked the crowd up into a frenzy, turned them all on the security. He was like, fuck the security, fuck it. Da, da, da. Like, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. That show was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were some violence shows. I can't remember which ones, but there were some violence shows that were so good, man. It was like, I think I saw one like recently on YouTube, like someone had video from it. So I somehow it came up in my feed and I could still feel the energy from even, after 20 years and seeing it on YouTube. I was like, man, I remember how thick the air was, that energy there.
That's awesome. We did. I mean, for a minute there, I want to say like 89, 90, like we were just killing it. Like we did 2 nights. We did a night at the Omni, sold out, night at the Stone, sold out, night, back to back. Yeah. For like a minute there, it was just fucking crazy. I'm supporting a million bands and amazing show, supporting Exodus and Death Angel and Suicidal and fucking, GBH and The Accused and like all these crazy shows. It was wild, but then that change happened, like all those things that you just talked about. And I remember it, like there was a minute and then it was just like almost within like 6 months, it just fucking dropped off. And then it was like, whoa, we're only drawing like 200 people now. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, I remember my last Vio-Lence show. We played to 120 people. Dudes were like spitting on us, throwing fucking coins up. I jumped off the stage like mid-song and just beat some dude fucking ass. He fucking pegged me with a quarter on my face. Like, you motherfucker. I just jumped off and beat the shit out of him. It was like it all like went weird and turned, and then it was just kind of like, whoa, what's happening? Weird.
Oh, and then the Florida death metal scene sprouted right up there too.
Right. All around that time.
Yeah, all around that time.
Obituary was starting to pop, and totally.
So that was how it died.
What did you do after that?
Then we started doing. I remember I had that band called Pulse where I was singing.
I don't know if I remember this.
Yeah, it was a brief thing, and it only lasted about 8 months maybe. And it was kind of like we were trying to get on with the Seattle and what was trending at the time, and it was kind of like a cross between like Nirvana and but with some metal in there. And there was a show, like one of the shows we played at Berkeley Square. You guys were on the More Things Change.
Oh yeah.
And okay. I think you guys had a day off, or you were home for some reason. You were home, but you had like this hectic touring cycle. And you were just home for a little while, and we were playing, and you were throwing ice at me.
I was.
Yeah. Well, I was playing.
It was all in love. I wasn't. At least it wasn't. At least it wasn't quarters. It was.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like hardly anybody there, and that's because when we were playing, that's when the Deftones started too.
Right.
And we were playing. We had played with the Deftones plenty of times, like at Berkeley Square.
Yeah.
In front of like 10 people.
Yeah, I know, right? Remember?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, after maybe about 5 shows of them playing in front of 10 people, then it was 20, then it was 40, then it was 80, and then all of a sudden it was half full, and then it was packed.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I remember the night that I started Machine Head, I left the Deftones show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was like the night that I quit Vio-Lence and officially like started Machine Head. It was like I was leaving a Deftones show, and then I got in that crazy fight at the gas station, and but I was leaving it was Deftones and Unjust.
Oh wow.
Yeah, at the Omni. It was a Sunday night at the Omni, like 50 people there. But that's just what you did. It was a Sunday night. You're like, band's playing at the Omni, let's go.
Yeah,
and drink.
That's crazy. I didn't know. I never knew that.
Yeah, that
you were leaving a Deftones show.
Yeah, and then I quit because we were getting death threats, and they were gonna like throw grenades on stage at me or something. And I was like, it was like some serious fucking trouble.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna play the show. And then that was it. That was the start of it. But yeah. So you did a band for Pulse for a little while. When did you join Man Made God? That
was after I had an offer to go to New York to join this industrial band. Okay. And I did that for a while, and it didn't work out. I was there for about 8 months.
Living in
New York, and then partially in New Jersey, but in that area.
Cool.
And so that didn't work out.
That must have been a fun time though, right?
Yeah, I didn't know anybody, so it wasn't like I didn't do anything much. I was just kind of like working and staying in my apartment, and then having band practice.
But you were in the city?
For a little while I was.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just didn't know anybody, so it wasn't like I didn't have a social life really.
Right.
and that didn't work out. So I moved back to California, and at that time I was about 26, and I had spent 10 years straight trying to like be successful in music, and it didn't pan out. And then I kind of just gave up. I kind of gave up for about 6 months, and I was kind of heartbroken a little bit. And then one day I just kind of picked up my guitar and I started playing, and I really enjoyed just playing guitar. And then I kind of made a decision that I'm just going to play music because I love music and not because I'm trying to get anywhere with it. And I just want to make music a part of my life. And once I started having that attitude and not caring about anything else except the love of music, that's when things started happening. And then Craig calls me up. He's like, "Hey, you want to join Man Made God?" And then you called me up and asked me if I wanted to, or you had Jack ask me if I wanted to audition for Machine Head. And it was crazy how everything just kind of took off from there.
Yeah. So Forbidden had already ended, and now Man Made God. Craig was doing Man Made God.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Cool. Man Made God? Who was the singer in Man Made God? The guy from Level? Was it
the guy from Level? I forget. Yeah. Mike Sullivan.
Okay.
Yeah. So we played a couple shows, and it was, we were getting a pretty good response. And then I got that Jack was like, "Hey, come here," at a show. And I'm like, "What's up, bro?" He's like, "Rob wants to know if you want to try out for Machine Head." And then that's how all of that started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I totally forgot about that. I didn't remember how you came, I remember seeing you at the Cactus Club and being like, "Oh, that'd be cool." And obviously I saw you a million times for Horde of Torment. So
yeah,
I think it's often, I think people have a perception of you that, like how little they know of your kind of thrash death metal background. Like I think that's something that's often, when I read people's thing about Ahrue Luster, it's always like new metal, Ill Nino, Machine Head, new metal face, whatever, fucking horseshit, people write. It's never, I almost feel like it's this completely forgotten on, the majority of the metal media, at least, how like, your roots go back to fucking thrash so much,
Yeah. I mean, I guess because I was on The Burning Red as my first album, and that was kind of the album everybody thought of as, and then from there I went to Ill Nino, so everything I was associated in the public eye was new metal, or like perceived as new metal, or whatever.
Buckaroo's a thrasher, man.
But yeah, that's
don't sleep on Buckaroo. He's a thrasher at heart.
Yeah, I mean that was the early, like, thrash was, I started with like Iron Maiden. I started with AC/DC, then went to Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. From there, Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil came out.
Fuck yeah.
And
I remember rocking out to Shout at the Devil with you.
Yeah. And then from there, I was on a path. Like I went straight from there to Slayer.
Yeah.
And then when Motley Crue came out with their second album, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, I'm just like, then it was like Slayer, Metallica, and then from there I was just totally like, yeah, I would say like thrash metal is my biggest roots, right? And the Bay Area thrash metal, and the fact that I was, even though I didn't grow up there and I wasn't from there, like, but just to have been part of that scene was a great experience, and I'll always identify with that and all the bands that come from there.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So Jack, that's funny. So Jack Cargyle, rest in peace.
Yeah.
He doesn't, probably nobody remembers Jack, but we remember Jack because Jack was like he was my guitar tech, fucking maniac, like the funniest motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anything for a laugh. Like this dude would do anything for a laugh, like.
Yeah, he was so much fun, that guy. And yeah, I remember that one time on my birthday, I guess you guys paid him to like tech for me in his wife's underwear and nothing else.
Yes, that was so good.
So yeah, he was. I mean, I couldn't even stop laughing. Like I was trying to play, and then I saw him come out, and he had nothing else on except for his wife's G-string.
That's right. So Jack's married. He brings out his wife panties to like sniff while he's in his bunk and jerk off. Like, this is how he's supposed to be staying, like, you know, faithful to her. So like, oh, I just bring her panties and I just sniff her panties and I just jerk off in my bunk. So he starts wearing his wife's panties quite a bit, just like as we all get hammered. He's on like fucking, you know, we called him Jackadin because like Vicodin. He was on Vicodin all the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember that one time when he's like parading up and down our fucking bus and he's in his white panties and somebody had brought us like a giant like it was like something nice, like I can't remember the name of the store, but like where they give you like cheese and salami and jam. Hickory Farms.
Yeah.
There's this giant fucking salami fucking arm and I just grab it and I smash it up his ass. Oh, fucker, show's over.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
Oh my God. That shit is burning in my brain forever. It was one of the fucking funniest nights of my life.
Yep. Yeah, we had a lot of nights like that. I mean, he was just so awesome to have around. Yeah, some of the stuff I don't know if we could talk about, but there was a lot of great times.
Yeah, we can talk about all of it. Yes.
Yeah.
He was a character, man. So he goes up and yeah, I guess I must have told him because he was kind of like my dude at the time. They're like, hey, fucking, you know, go tell Ahrue that I want him to try out for the band. So you do. What do you remember about the first Machine Head tryout?
Oh man, I mean, because like, I mean, I was like, you know, like, I guess I wasn't expecting Jack to come up to me or you to offer me to try out. So it wasn't even in my mind, you know, like it wasn't in my mind. And then we talked on the phone and I got a really good vibe from you. But I still wasn't sure, like, you know, cause I didn't want to leave Man-Made God because, you know, we started it together and everything. You
and Craig.
Yeah. Craig and everybody that was involved in the beginning. And, then I remember you saying, why don't you just come out and, you know, just come and jam a song with us or just come and jam with us. So I practiced, I know I had to practice 10-Ton Hammer and Struck a Nerve, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember what other songs.
Davidian?
Could have been, yeah. I think it was Davidian.
Yeah.
And
that seems like kind of logical.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember. I remember 10-Ton Hammer, everybody playing it. And
yeah.
You were pretty late. I remember you were like one of the last people we tried out. We had tried out, you know, 30 people. Some people were just coming in and like air guitaring. And I was like starting to get really burned out on trying people out. Cause I'm like, dude, you're air guitaring. What are you doing? Like,
what, they didn't even bring a guitar?
No, like they'd bring it, but then they wouldn't play anything. They're just kind of like headbanging and going crazy. And I was like, look, thanks for coming out.
Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, it's like, so we started with 10-Ton Hammer, and the moment that everybody was playing together, like it was just like this crazy feeling of like, oh my God, I can't believe this amount of energy. Like it was just incredible feeling, and like within a split second, I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Wow, very cool. I mean, that's the opening song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we hang out after that or did we?
We went to that bar in Berkeley. I forgot who.
Oh, right. The bar in Albany. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Can't remember now, but I remember this. Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but I had so much anxiety in the first like 6 months of being in the band. Like I was like, I would show up to the rehearsal and just like looking at the door, I was like, oh my God, I was just so fucking petrified to open the door.
Wow. No, you never did tell me that. No.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, cause everything I had done before that was just on a local level, and anything that would even remind me of what I'm about to be doing would just give me massive anxiety. I even went to a hypnotist
No shit, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing any of this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
And-
it was like you got thrust into some crazy, life, from kind of 0 to 100, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was like, I think it wasn't until we finished that first tour until I started feeling comfortable with everything.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So like even just during the writing of the record, part of the record was written already, right? Like some of it was written already.
Yeah, I think there was 4 songs written already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you joined this band that sold 1 million records, and you're like, "Fuck!" Like,
Yeah.
pressure's on.
It was
Was that what it was? Did you feel like pressure?
I felt pressure. I wanted to contribute. I wanted to not be the weak link. I wanted to impress you guys, and I just wanted to do a good job,
Yeah.
So, and it was just like on a way higher level than I had ever done anything in my life. So it just created tons of anxiety.
Yeah. Huh. That's fun. Thanks for sharing that, man. I've never heard you say that. We've never talked about this.
Yeah.
This is certainly my first time. Maybe you've talked about it publicly, but I've not heard it.
Yeah. I don't know if I have or not, but I know I've told like people that are close to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my memories are of you. You came in and brought, I remember you brought in Silver. I remember you brought in like the chorus of From This Day. Like I remember you coming like the riff in 5, like parts of the Burning Red. Like I remember us jamming the Burning Red together and kind of working it out in the studio, in the jam room.
Yeah, it was. I
don't feel like you. Like I felt like you brought a lot, kind of right off the bat. Like that's my memory.
And that was what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't want to seem like a weak link by any means, or like, I didn't want to be, I wanted you to be happy with your decision, to bring me on. So I wanted to contribute as much as possible and do the best job I could.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And you did. I remember.
Thank you.
I remember, I think Adam was a little jealous by how much you were writing. like the stuff was sticking. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if you caught that, but
yeah, I remember some of that going on.
Yeah. And it was kind of I always look back on your time, and I think that I think you handled it really well. Like I think that you had like it was a big change. People were, you did get a lot of hate kind of joining the band, like at first, certainly. And,
yeah, totally.
And I remember, and I had kind of gone through this personal, like I had hit this just prior to you joining, I hit this kind of personal low in my life where just, alcohol and bulimia and just fucking, I was falling apart. Logan had just quit, and I'd really taken it, took it really hard and was kind of self-destructing. And I had just started going to therapy for the first time in my life. And I'm like, here I am like learning all this shit about all these layers of my life. And I'm trying to, they call it peeling the onion, right? Like I'm peeling the onion and I'm changing, and I'm like, and I'm truly changing. And here you join this band, and, I'm changing musically, and you're bringing this other change. And like, it was quite a bit of change for any Machine Head fan, the look and just all this stuff. And then on top of it, somehow you get blamed for it. Like, it's Ahrue who brought all these fucking changes. And I'm like, it was a bunch of shit that was changing, And even the scene was changing, shit that was like popular, in 1994 was like not cool anymore. And so, we were just kind of trying to find our way. And I always felt like, you came in, and I had changed quite a bit, and I didn't want to be this kind of violent fucking, like all I did was just drink and fight, and I was out of my mind. And I was trying to become this other person. And then we go on tour, and I'm like this new person now, and I don't know what to do. And so I just go back into drinking and drugging and like all the shit that I kind of like knew before. And it was just like, fuck, like, I don't know if it's going to work. Like, this is a crazy time,
Yeah. And I feel that like you going like, because you were going through all of that, and a lot of that was reflected in the lyrics and the music of the Burning Red. So I feel like it's one of the most authentic Machine Head albums. Like personally, like as far as like going into your personal feelings and your true self, even though like superficially maybe we were the clothes we were wearing and right. and maybe some of the style that we chose to do musically was maybe more of a certain time, but the heart of it was authentic.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I can fucking look back and go, yeah, it was the 90s. we were wearing some crazy clothes and doing a lot of cocaine. So yeah. That's what happens. But I mean, those songs absolutely 100% stand the test of time. Like it's a fucking painful record for me. Like I can't listen to some songs on that record. I can't listen to 5, I don't like listening to, I don't even like listening to the Burning Red. Like it's just too much scar tissue that I don't want to peel open, like,
yeah,
but
totally.
I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I sang what I sang. And I'm glad that record, ended up being what it was, because, in a lot of ways that helped me heal past all the shit that I was trying to, fix, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, that's, to me, that's what music is about, is healing. I mean, there's all kinds of things that music can do. Like music can get you pumped up or make you have a good time. But like a lot of metal music is about healing people. And, I've experienced it myself. Like on this album that we just did, like I was in a place, like after everything that happened to me over the past 6 years, I wasn't even sure what I wanted to do anymore. And Diego was kind of the one that really got the ball rolling. And he's like, "Hey man, we're gonna do a record." And I wasn't even there. I wasn't even in that frame of mind. And so I was like, all right. And I was just like, man, I'm not even sure if this is what I want to do. And then so we did the record, and I was like, yeah, you know what, this feels pretty good. And then, but I was still struggling. I was still struggling with a lot of things that I was going through. And we started getting the songs back, and we got 2 of the songs. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then we got like the 3rd song, and I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. And then the songs, like, they would get better and better almost. And then we got till there was like one song that we hadn't heard, and it was called Find My Way. And I was like, man, this record is so awesome. Like I'm so happy about this record that even if this last song sucks, I'm still happy, And then I got it, and I was like, it was like my favorite of all of them. Like it topped all the other ones. And the lyrics, like because Christian has gone through a lot of his own things over the past couple of years, as well as things that we, shared things that we've gone through together. But the lyric, like his lyric, like where he was coming from with the lyrics about finding your way home. Like once I heard that song, dude, I was like, tears came to my eyes. Like I was in tears, and it like kind of like healed me. It healed me from, not that I'm fully healed, but it healed me so much to make me realize that, I don't know, it made me find my way again. It made me find my way and my love for music and what I do and what I've always done. And then I played it like 20 more times in a row, just over and over. And each time I played it, I cried each time. Wow. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's like, and I just realized the healing power of what we do. And to me, that's my favorite part about music, is like when we get, I'm sure you get them too, is like messages from people like, yeah, your music helped me through one of the hardest times in my life. Or even some people, like your music stopped me from killing myself.
Yeah.
and that's what's amazing. And I feel that way about the Burning Red too. Like that's, I still to this day people talk to me about the Burning Red and like how much it's helped them.
Yeah, it's humbling to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't, you put your art out into the world and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what people are going to think about it. I remember being terrified of putting the Burning Red out, the song, the Burning Red. I was like, everybody's going to think we're pussies.
Yeah.
Like I was just in that frame of mind. And I was like, this is a fucking really good song. Like fuck everybody,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it was
scary, but it was scary putting it out. Like I remember feeling scared.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like you're exposing yourself more than you probably ever had up until that point. You're exposing yourself to the world, but by doing that, you're connecting with people too, because people are identifying with that and they're making the connection, and then that's helping them.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud of that album. And what it's done. And yeah, there's some goofy moments on it, but all in all, like I just think I'm glad it's in the world, and I'm so proud to have been a part of it.
There's some heavy shit on there. I wish I would have fought harder to keep Message in a Bottle off. That's my only regret. It was it should have just stayed a B-side,
a single, like a B-side.
The Bad Brain song, that song, and whatever the other song. Do you remember we recorded Black Metal? We did a version of Black Metal that was going to be a B-side.
You know what? I recently read somewhere, and I didn't remember that until now. Like I vaguely remember that though. We recorded
the music and we ran out of time, and I just never recorded the vocals, but we actually recorded the music to Venom's Black Metal. So it was going to be what I can't remember, Holocaust and the Bad Brain song and Message in a Bottle and fucking Venom Black Metal.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
It should have been crazy, but that was, dude, Exhale the Vial, Devil with the King's Card, Eye to Fire. There's so many fucking heavy fucking songs. We just played Exhale the Vial the other day on the Electric Happy Hour. People were fucking crazy. They're like, oh my God, this song's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember recording. Remember all the different drummers we had in the room recording that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Totally. That was fun. We had like 20 different drummers all in different rooms. Some people were outside.
Yeah.
We mic'd it all. And then that was how the intro ended up coming about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That was a wild recording. Like Vanilla Ice would show up everywhere, like fucking, because he was working with Ross and like fucking the fucking Amen dudes and Dean Carr. We'd all come up to Malibu. We had fucking Stephanie Cabral. Shout out to Stephanie Cabral. She would come up and fucking rage to the death.
Oh yeah, we would drink. We would just drink and drink.
You hit it off for a second there, right?
Yeah.
Were you guys dating for a minute?
For a little bit, yeah, we were.
Yeah. She's awesome. I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. I haven't talked to her in years and years, but I see her on Facebook, and I'm glad she's doing well.
Yeah, totally. And then Slipknot came up. You remember this? Like the very last, like I don't want to say it was like the last week or so. Were you still there when Slipknot came up? Yeah.
Yeah, we were recording the Burning Red while they were recording their first album.
Yeah.
And we had the day shift and they had the night shift.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. And then we'd run into each other on the road coming up. And when we were leaving.
Well, we were all staying there at one point.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We were all living at Malibu at the what's it called? Indigo Ranch.
Indigo Ranch. Yeah.
Yeah. We were all living there at one point. And then they were sleeping in the living room, and we had the house or whatever,
like the cot or whatever where the beds were.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah, that was a crazy
the beds
time.
And the spiders were. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I remember like there were so many spiders in the beginning. It's like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be like, spider. But then after a couple of weeks, it's like I'd feel a spider crawling on my face. I'd just be like I got used to it.
we were on so much coke and booze and blow at that point that we just didn't care. But I remember that first week, I was like, I've never seen this many fucking spiders. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, Clown was all doing like seances in the back with the Ouija board and shit. And
Oh wow, I never saw that.
yeah, totally. And then I don't know. And then you might have, because we were there. So if you remember, the reason that they came was because we ran over. So they had got there just early because we were supposed to be done, but then we weren't. So we were running over. So then that was that overlap.
Yeah.
We were hanging out, and then we were all kind of like watching TV together in the group room and hanging out. And then we ended, but then I had to come back. We came down to mix, and I still had a couple of vocal things to do. And they were then mixing the album, and I would come up and do vocals and just take a break while they were just like, I need a break. I would do vocals, and they're mixing the whole record with Joey and Chris Fain, Joey Jordanson, who was sober as a judge at that point.
Yeah.
Like, not a drop of alcohol, nothing, no weed, no nothing, like sober.
Yeah.
Even that whole tour, we took him out on their first tour, or their second tour or whatever. They remember how fucking sober he was?
Yep. And I remember one night we went to see Gia Felias.
To what?
Oh, hold on. Oh, that's what we called Crazy Girls.
Oh, crazy. CG Police. We went to Crazy Girls. That's right.
Yeah, he was just like sober, just like really awkward, just real shy.
Totally right.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. And then and then the last night I was actually there. I think the band had gone by this point, but I was still there. I think I had one little last thing to finish up, and they finished up their album. So fucking they went out. It was Chris Fain, Ross Robinson, and then Joey. And we all went to some like titty bar where fucking they weren't fully nude. They had like, little tape on their nipples or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And he got shit faced. Oh were you there? Do you remember this?
I vaguely, maybe that was that night.
Yeah, it was him and Chris, and then Chris got up and was dancing with the girls on the fucking pole and all that.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, maybe everybody was there. Yeah. And he got shit, and I just were like, I fucking love you, Rob, man. I fucking love Machine Head. Fucking he was a big Vio-Lence. He was a huge Vio-Lence fan, so he kept on.
Oh wow,
Vio-Lence fan, fucking oh my god. But he was like crying on my shoulder at the end of the night, like, I'm so fucking happy about this record, Dad. Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember him crying, but I vaguely remember parts of that night.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember that tour more than anything being like, that was like, I had never toured with a band that was so fucking hot.
Yeah.
They were the fucking hottest band on the planet Earth. It was like, It was like fucking playing after the Beatles,
Yeah.
It was, and I don't use that lightly. Like, it was so fucking, I remember we did, because the first tour we do, well, the first show you do is the 10 Ton Hammer show, right?
Yeah.
Did we do any warm-up shows prior to that?
We did a Maritime Hall show.
Oh, right.
After that.
Okay.
And then I think we did 2 warm-up shows before we hooked up with Living La Vida Loca.
Right.
We did I think we did Brick by Brick.
Okay.
Or maybe we just did one. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But then we jumped on that tour
in Dallas.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's the opening night. And fucking, I just remember like it was bedlam when they fucking played. It was like it was like the fucking thrash scene times fucking 10. Like I've never seen anybody go so fucking crazy. They outsold all 3 bands in merch like times 20. Like fucking, and it was like, and then we came on and people were just like, yeah, cool. I was like, yeah, cool. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And I remember there was a lot of like like everybody's we're playing, like, as crazy as it sounds, like some of the venues we were playing were, big places. We played the Amphitheater in Cleveland and Roseland in New York, but we were playing clubs. Like, it's Cold Chamber, Machine Head, Slipknot, and we're playing 600, 700 capacity clubs.
Yeah, some were small, pretty small stages.
Yeah, with a fucking band that's got 9 dudes. The second band on the bill has 9 dudes in the band.
And they had to set up in front of 2 drum sets.
Yeah, totally. And they're fucking pissed and like, but I remember I'm gonna probably have Sean clown on the fucking podcast, but I remember him and I got into it one night.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, well, maybe the fucking keg player can sit this one out.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy about that, but it was like a crazy phenomenon. And I don't know. I just wanted to. Do you have any memories of that tour?
Yeah, one of my memories from that tour was the New York show. Remember at Roseland?
Right.
So you were still talking to the crowd, and Cold Chamber had their kabuki, and they lowered it while you were still talking. Yeah. And the New York kids are, they knew they found that disrespectful, so they started grabbing it and pulling it down, and they pulled the kabuki down and ripped it to shreds.
Literally, while chanting Machine fucking Head.
Yeah, and they were chanting Machine Head, and then that was one of our best shows of the tour for sure.
We fucking killed it that night.
Yeah, we killed it that night. And then afterwards, a kid came up and he's like, "I got a piece of the kabuki. Can you sign it?" And I was like, "Sure." He's like, "Yeah, I was the one that started that whole thing, ripping it down." That was Tommy Vext.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Yeah.
Right. No shit. Wow.
Yeah.
That's badass.
And that was the first time.
Tommy Vext of Bad Wolves.
Yeah, that was the first time we met Tommy Vext. And then the next day we had the From This Day video shoot, and he's in that video shoot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, was that the next day?
Yeah, that was the next day in Brooklyn.
Shit. Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah, I had met him before. I had met him on the More Things Change.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my first time meeting him.
Yeah, yeah. Rad. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's in the From This Day video.
Yeah, that show was amazing. That's like that show was a highlight of, like, if I could think of like probably top 10 shows of my life, that was definitely one of them.
I remember we had Supercharger was kind of like all over the place. There had been some internal band drama. Dave quit the band at one point.
Yeah.
And you and I were like talking like, what are we going to do? And fucking all this stuff. And then eventually he came back, but it was a very fractious time. There was a lot of arguments about partnerships and money and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And going into Supercharger was kind of like this new, I'm not sure what new attitude. I don't know what it was, but like, I don't know if it like,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Some of the songs turned out great and they're still great songs, but it was like kind of like we were kind of losing our way. I felt like there was a lot of losing our way in that. Definitely.
I feel like people were pulling in different directions. And I know that, when I look back on all of that, I know that I wasn't, I still had a lot of growing to do. So I had a lot to do with the toxicity that was in there. Oh, and yeah, I think so. And just because I didn't know how to communicate, it's like, it was like at a time in my life whenever there was a problem in a relationship, instead of running towards it, I would run away from it. And I just didn't know how to deal with, I was still maturing a lot as a human being. And I will definitely say that I can take the blame for a lot of the toxicity that was in there at that time.
Wow. That's incredible of you to say. I think it's not, I don't think it was all you. It was a lot of, everybody was going through their own thing, a lot of ego, a lot of just whatever.
Yeah.
Not understanding of stuff. And, I think if anything, you were probably more, it's like when you joined the band, you kind of got grandfathered into this system that was already in place from an agreement that I made with people that, 5 years before you even joined the band.
Yeah.
But I'm honoring this thing because like one guy from that thing was still there. So like I had to honor it and shit like that would like piss me off. I'm like, why? Like I didn't make this agreement with Ahrue, whatever, so there was like, it was crazy. And it's almost too much to go into at this point, but money and partnership and how weird, a band business, in my opinion, it's gotta be the worst band. It's got to be the worst business structure in the history of the world. It's just fucking, it makes no fucking sense. It's such a mess, like it's such a fucking mess. And we were dealing with all that then, because now we're finally coming to, we changed management. Now we've got like fucking all this other stuff we got to deal with. And, how do we take care of the old manager, Joey, with, the new manager, Rick we got Slayer's manager and,
Yeah.
And I just remember going into it was like, we finally get through this giant rough patch with, Dave quitting and Adam almost quitting and everybody almost, like, the whole band's falling apart. And then we finally get through it and it's like, okay, like, let's just, whoever writes the riff, your riff gets in, keep the peace, like just anybody can do anything. And in some ways it was good for me, kind of like relinquishing that control. Up until that point, I had probably written, 75 to 85% of every record. And so, it was good for me to kind of let that control go. I don't know if it made the best album, but I felt like it made a good vibe, what we had been through.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I feel like the morale of a band is almost more important than the record itself. It's just about the morale of getting, keeping the morale up high enough to just get what we need to do and accomplish, what is often a Herculean task of putting out a record and touring it and making people care about it and, all this stuff. And
yeah, it's, it's definitely like and it's infectious. Like when everybody's feeling it and everybody's excited about it, then it's kind of like, you feed off each other, and the shows are amazing, and everything that has to do with it is just like it's bigger. It's like, I don't know the right word, but it's infectious. And it's the same way in reverse. Like whenever there's toxicity and whenever stuff isn't going the right way, that will downward spiral.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was, we were all disappointed that we didn't, maybe achieve some of the things that we wanted to, like sales wise and stuff like that. And that had something to do with it as well.
Yeah. We did get a little caught up in the sound scans and chart numbers and stuff like that, that started to, that came really into like the forefront of people's mindsets there at like the end of the 90s into the 2000s, like it was all about the first week or this or that or and then of course we had the unfortunate, we finish up our album, we're getting ready to release it, we're all excited, and then fucking 9/11 happens, and then we go out on tour 6 days after 9/11 strikes. Us, Fear Factory, Ill Nino, Chimera, Ill Nino, sorry. And
I think it was Ill Nino, Chimera.
Was it? Oh, really? Was Chimera opening? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just, there was some fantastic shows on that tour, but my memory of it was just like so many people just staring at us like, what am I doing here? Like, tell me it's going to be okay.
And then we had Crashing Around You, and we had a video that had like buildings falling down, that we wanted to release like right after. That's like the worst possible luck you can have. Videos shot in the bag. It's us on CGI standing on top of buildings that are crashing around all around us. And then holy fuck. So that it didn't get off to a good start.
You almost couldn't have written a funnier like punchline to a band, about to have a disastrous record. And then they did
like straight Spinal Tap.
Oh my God. It was so like, I just was like, are you kidding? Like, are you fucking kidding me? So he had to change it, and then that took all the cool shit out of the video, and then it just becomes some dumb video, like some guy in a room or whatever. And,
some people, like I see that video on Facebook, like it's in my feed, and I see it like every other day.
Oh, really?
And a lot of people comment, and they think that kid in the Iron Maiden shirt, it was like a young you.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Yeah.
A young me?
Yeah.
Funny.
But yeah, it was, and I think we were supposed to. I mean, Rick Sales was telling us that we were going to have the Rob Zombie tour, or no, not the Rob Zombie. It was like the Power Man 5000 tour.
Yes.
And then he's like, "Well, that didn't happen, but you guys can go out with Fear Factory."
Yeah, and we were like, okay, it was a good tour. It was a
yeah,
good
it was a good tour.
It was I mean, it was a great tour actually. It was a fucking.
Yeah.
There was some great nights. It was weird. I mean, it was fucking. If you could pick the worst time in America to tour, it would be 6 days after 9/11. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody, just people didn't. I mean, the world was in shock. We were in shock, like, but we made some great friends, and I remember, like, obviously we hooked up with Ill Nino was on there, and those guys became really good friends of ours. Chimera became really good friends of ours.
Yeah.
I remember like a week into the tour, like Shivari, we had already announced our European tour. Shivari's hitting me up like, dude, take us on the fucking European tour, like, and that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
We ended up everybody canceled all their European tours, and Machine Head was the only band that went over there. Like, so System of a Down canceled, Pantera canceled what would have been their last tour. So that would, whatever we did, we did the Beast Feast.
Yeah.
We did the Beast Feast in Japan. That was Pantera's final show. We played Pantera's final show.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't realize that until like maybe a few years ago. But yeah, that was crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went on right before they did.
Yeah, it was a mess of a show. they were a mess, but
yeah,
we were there. We watched that. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And anyway, we go over to Europe, which is, every band's canceled, and we're the only band that would fly over there and do that. And the shows were phenomenal, if you remember. I mean,
yeah, that was an amazing tour.
Fucking killed it. Like, killed it. Ridiculous, like getting bagged on in the press, but like the shows were fucking awesome. And I remember you and Adam in particular, but Adam maybe more than you, but you guys both really broed down with the Ill Nino guys. Like, I loved him too. I loved all those guys, like fucking, Shivari and the fucking butter nipples, like butter nipples over there. It was like a great vibe, and it really
that's where Adam and I both really gravitated towards the guys in Ill Nino. And we were there when they got their first tour bus. They were just like so happy. I remember their bus came up and they were just like jumping up and down and kissing the ground. And that's the tour that broke them in Europe. And after that, they were able to go back and headline.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah,
I remember them doing really good on that tour.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they flew in. It was, I forgot we were playing in Germany, and they like barely made it to be able to get on stage right before their show.
Okay, right.
And that was an amazing tour. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, eventually you would go on to join. I mean, it wasn't almost immediately after Machine Head, but you would join shortly thereafter. You would join Ill Nino, right?
It was about a year after. Like, I tried to start my own project for a while, and I couldn't find. It was like hard to find people that were as dedicated that knew what it took to like do it professionally and wanted to put the time in. And it was kind of like a similar thing. I was jamming with these guys, and Shivari called me up, and he's like, "Hey, you want to try out for Ill Nino?" And, I had to think about it as well. And finally I did. And I was glad that I did. But there was
what album were they on at that point? Was that just the second record?
Yeah, it was right. I joined right before Confession.
Okay.
And it was crazy because we toured with them twice on the first record. So I kind of feel like I was almost there. I was there from the beginning of the band. Same with Machine Head, because I was there when Tony was living with me.
Oh, right.
when you guys were doing the demos for Burn My Eyes.
That's right. Holy shit. Yeah. That's another crazy tie there. Tony Costanza,
yeah,
original drummer that we wrote, probably over half of Burn My Eyes with, was living with you.
He was living with me when you guys were writing Burn My Eyes. So I would hear, he'd come home with like cassettes and he'd pop them in. He's like, this is our song. And I was like, wow, that song's really cool. Like my favorite song when I was hearing the tapes was Death Church.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I love that song. You guys played it a lot slower on those tapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you ended up speeding it up. But
we were going full Godflesh on the original version of that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I don't know if I was there but I remember like the first show was like at a party.
Yeah. Yeah. At Mike Stump's house.
Yeah.
A kegger party.
Yep.
You were there. Yeah,
I might have been.
I think you would have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say I remember you being there.
Yeah.
I think you even came to a couple of rehearsals occasionally, right?
I may have. I'm not sure, but I know that I was at some of the first shows, and I was at the Davidian video shoot.
Nice.
And I remember I was fucked up. Like I remember that because it was at what's that place called?
It was called Ruthless Inn, but it was the Rock on Broadway, basically.
Oh, the Rock on Broadway, and they had those stairs.
Ruthless Inn. Yeah. Yeah,
they had those stairs going up. Like 4 people had to carry me out of that. Carry me down those stairs.
That's a good Machine Head show right there.
yeah, that was amazing. So like I feel like even though I wasn't in the band for the first 2 records, I was still around the band like every step of the way from the inception of the band.
Right.
And
same with Ill Nino. How interesting.
Yeah. And I wasn't there in the very beginning with them, but I was there with their first couple tours, or some of their first tours.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that Confession record, like Roadrunner pushed the fuck out of that record.
Yeah.
You guys toured with Godsmack, right?
Yeah, we toured with Godsmack for a while. We toured with Seven Dust a lot. So I toured with Seven Dust with Machine Head and with Ill Nino.
Okay.
But we toured that record probably about a year and a half. So it was pretty brutal. I didn't even have a home at the time because I was living in the Bay Area, and then they're based out of New Jersey, and the touring cycle was about to start. So I didn't even have time to like try to find a place or anything. So we were just touring like nonstop for a year and a half. And if we had any time off, I would just go stay at the Hayward house with Paul Perry and them.
Right.
And then finally, after that, I settled in Denver.
Yeah. Okay. And that's where you've been for a while now, right?
Yeah, I've been here for about 17 years now.
Oh shit! It's crazy because I just watched some interview and you were just like, I was in Ill Nino for 17 years. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah,
the fuck? I was so much longer than I realized at all. Like that's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, since about 2003, I think. That's when I joined.
2003 to 2020.
Yeah, 2020, I would say.
Yeah. And that's a lot. That's a long time. A lot of life lived,
Yeah.
A lot of good times, I'm sure.
Lots of good times, lots of lots of struggles. Just, the band life.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's kind of crazy that that was one of the longest things I've ever done, and it's all, I'm not part of it anymore. It's a weird feeling because you put so much time and so much energy and so much effort into something, and you're not doing it anymore. But I'm excited that we're doing something new, and it's kind of like I had to my whole life was being rebuilt. Like everything that was a constant in my life up until about a year ago is like, including my marriage, my band, is all new now.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm starting from scratch almost. but it feels good. It's like I feel like the new version is I'm only bringing quality things into my life. Like one of the things is like I really learned to value relationships, and I want to have more deep relationships and fewer of them than, you know, a lot of superficial relationships, whether that's friends or partners or, you know, anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, 17 years. Yeah. That's like, you were in Machine Head for 4 years, 98 to 2002. And that's a fucking long time. I mean, that's 4 times longer. Like that's a long time.
Yeah.
You know, longer than a lot of bands last, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And between the time, like, I mean, I'm extremely thankful to have been able to like do music for as long as I have. And honestly, you know, I always think about this, and it's like, I would have never been able to have a career in music if you didn't give me a chance in the beginning.
Well, thanks for saying that, man. Yeah,
for sure. And it's something I never take for granted. And I'm very thankful for.
Right on, Ahrue. Well, yeah. What happened at the end of Ill Nino?
I mean, I don't know how much we can go into, like, because I think we're not allowed to, like, I think with our legal, because we went through a lot of legal stuff. So right. I don't know how much I can say, but everything's available online. Like if somebody wants to search it out, but yeah, I don't know how much I can talk about. So I'm not going to say, well,
things just didn't work out.
Yeah. Things didn't work out. And I could, you know, like the way that I'm sitting here talking to you and talking about good times and everything, that would never happen with them.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. Well, I'm glad that you and the 3 of you guys got something going. You know, I loved all the guys in Ill Nino, Laz and Dave and everybody. You know, like I obviously had a totally outside of the inner workings of the band perception. So, you know, every time I see somebody, it's always like, fucking, hey, what's up? You know, not that I've seen anybody in forever. I haven't seen those guys in a long time, but
yeah, everybody's been COVIDing.
Right. But that's killer that you guys got your new thing going, man. I'm excited.
Thank you, man.
I'm excited for people to hear it. I'm excited for people to hear this podcast.
Awesome, man. Me too. Yeah. It's like, this is the first time we've talked a little bit here and there and like more and more over the years.
For sure.
But we've never sat down like this and really just talked.
Yeah. And you know, like I always appreciate and am grateful for everything that you contributed to the band. You know, everything that you brought to the band, music, riffs, ideas, vibe, you know, flavor, whatever you want to call it. Like, you know, we made some great music, man. We made some great timeless music, you know, and people can fucking shit on those songs if they want to. I tell you what, we play From This Day, motherfuckers lose their minds.
Yeah.
You know, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, motherfuckers lose their minds, you know, and it's awesome. You know, it's awesome that, you know, you can get this kind of backlash in the media or whatever, and that people don't care. They're like, fuck you. I love this song. You know, we played Crashing Around You. We played Bulldozer. People go fucking crazy. I tell you what, I started playing at the happy hours. I started playing All in Your Head. And people are like, dude, this is a really good song. I'm like, I forgot it was a really good song. We never played that song live. Yeah. It's never been played live, you know, other than like the fucking happy hours. So it was kind of cool to, you know, revisit those things. And, you know, I think time has this way of changing. This October is the 20th anniversary of Supercharger.
Oh, wow.
Is that crazy. Fucking crazy or what, dude?
That's insane.
Yeah. October 2nd. It's like, fuck it. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
wow.
You know, it's insane to think about that. So it's time has this way of kind of erasing whatever might have been popular or wasn't cool or is cool, or, you know, like now it's kind of whatever people remember of that or whatever. Yeah. And I got to say, man, those songs, you know, they all stand the test of time. And you brought a lot to the table with that, and
thank you.
I think I've said this to you before, but I'll say it to you publicly. Like, I'm always grateful for everything that you brought to the band. It was a lot, and you got unfairly blamed for some of the things that some of the changes that happened in the band, but what you brought was a lot more than anything else, and I appreciate it. I'm grateful for it, Ahrue.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot to me, and thank you.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Much success for Lions at the Gate.
Thank you so much.
Lions at the Gate, right? Not Gates?
Yeah.
Gate. Yeah.
One gate.
One gate. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, you've got the mighty Ahrue Luster here on No Fucking Regrets. Peace out, Buck.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
With Robb Flynn.